Ambassador Zethkar's crystalline appendages clicked against the obsidian table as he reviewed the latest intelligence reports from the Sol system. 3 standard galactic years had passed since the Galactic Council had dismissed humanity as a primitive species, unworthy of membership. The decision had been unanimous among the 12 founding races. Humans possessed no telepathic abilities, no energy manipulation powers, and their technology was laughably crude compared to galactic standards. Impossible, Zethkar muttered, his translator struggling with the concept as he stared at the holographic display. The data couldn't be accurate. No species developed faster than light travel in less than 5 galactic cycles after first contact, especially not one deemed primitive. Counselor Vrexna, her 6 eyes blinking in sequence, leaned forward from her position across the chamber. The reports are confirmed, Ambassador. Human vessels have been detected in 17 different star systems over the past rotation. They're not using our established hyperlane network. The chamber fell silent except for the soft humming of the atmospheric processors. Each council member represented millions of years of evolutionary advancement, civilizations that had mastered the fundamental forces of the universe through biological adaptation or technological symbiosis. The Kethron had evolved telepathic abilities that allowed instantaneous communication across star systems. The Mordun could manipulate matter at the molecular level through thought alone. The Veltari existed partially in subspace, making them nearly immortal. Humans had none of these advantages. They were biological, mortal, and utterly ordinary. Show me the footage from the Kepler 442 incident, Zethkar commanded. The holodisplay shimmered, revealing a mining operation on a barren world. Kethran workers were extracting rare minerals using their psychic abilities to levitate massive chunks of ore. Suddenly, human vessels appeared, not through the established jump points but directly in the system's asteroid belt. The ships were crude, angular things that looked more like flying scrap metal than proper spacecraft. What happened next defied every expectation. The humans didn't announce themselves through telepathic communication as was standard. Instead, they used primitive electromagnetic radiation, radio waves. But their message wasn't a request or negotiation. It was a business proposal. Greetings, Kethran friends, the transmission began, the universal translator working overtime to convert the strange human concept of friendship between species. We've observed your mining operation and would like to offer our assistance. We can increase your yield by 300% and reduce your processing time by half. The Kethran supervisor, Telmak, had been amused. These primitive beings wanted to improve upon millions of years of Kethran engineering. The arrogance was almost entertaining. Until they proved their point. The human ships deployed what they called kinetic bombardment systems, essentially, rocks accelerated to significant fractions of light speed, but instead of using them as weapons, they used them for precision mining. Asteroids were shattered along perfect crystalline lines, exposing valuable ores with surgical precision. What would have taken the Kethron months to extract, the humans accomplished in days. But that wasn't the most disturbing part. The disturbing part was what happened next. The humans didn't just mine the asteroids, they built. Within a single rotation, they had constructed a processing facility from the extracted materials, not through matter manipulation or advanced nanotechnology, but through simple brute force engineering. They connected metal to metal with heat and pressure, creating structures that were primitive but undeniably effective. Fast forward to the trade negotiations, Zethkar ordered, his anxiety manifesting as rapid clicking. The hologram shifted to show a human delegation meeting with Kethran leadership. The humans were small, fragile-looking beings in environmental suits, completely out of their element. They should have been intimidated by the psychic presence of the Kethran, whose mental abilities could overwhelm most species. Instead, they were excited. "This is amazing," one human had exclaimed, apparently immune to the Kethran's mental influence. "We've never met a telepathic species before. Could you teach us? We have so many questions about consciousness and neural networks." The Kethran had expected fear, submission, or at least proper diplomatic protocol. What they got was enthusiasm and an endless stream of questions about things they had taken for granted for millennia. The humans wanted to understand everything, not to replicate the abilities they couldn't possess, but to learn how they worked. Within days, the humans had proposed 17 different technological solutions to problems the Kethran hadn't even realized they had. They created mechanical devices that could amplify telepathic signals, extending the range of Kethran communication networks. They developed algorithms that could predict asteroid compositions based on gravitational variations, making mining more efficient. They took the Kethran's natural abilities and made them better through technology. "Show me the Veltari encounter," Counselor Vrexna requested, her voice carrying an undertone of concern. The hologram displayed the ethereal Veltari, beings who existed partially in subspace and could phase through solid matter at will. They were considered the most advanced species in the galaxy, having achieved a form of quantum consciousness that made them nearly godlike. The humans had met them at a dimensional research station, where the Veltari were studying the intersection between normal space and subspace. It was research that had taken them 10,000 years to barely begin to understand. The humans figured out the basics in 3 weeks, not through supernatural ability or advanced evolution, but through what they called reverse engineering and hypothesis testing. They observed the Veltari's interactions with subspace, built mathematical models, tested theories, and iterated improvements. They created crude but functional subspace detection equipment from materials that any industrial species could manufacture. They're pattern recognition specialists, Zethkar realized, the pieces finally falling into place. They don't have our natural abilities, so they developed the capacity to understand and replicate any system through observation and analysis. The implications were staggering. Every species in the galaxy had evolved along specific lines, developing particular abilities that defined their place in the cosmic hierarchy. The Kethran ruled through telepathy, the Morden through matter manipulation, the Veltari through dimensional transcendence. Humans had evolved something far more dangerous: adaptability. They couldn't read minds, so they built machines that could detect and interpret brainwave patterns. They couldn't manipulate matter with their thoughts, so they created nanotechnology that could reshape materials at the atomic level. They couldn't phase through dimensions, so they invented technology that could breach the barriers between realities. Every natural advantage that had taken millions of years to evolve, humans could replicate and improve upon within decades. They were technological parasites, absorbing and enhancing the abilities of every species they encountered. The vote to reconsider their membership application passes unanimously, Zethkar announced to the chamber. But we're not just admitting them to the council. He paused, clicking nervously as he contemplated the future of galactic civilization. We're preparing for the day they surpass us all. In the depths of space, human ships continued their expansion, carrying with them not just technology and ambition, but something far more powerful: the unshakable belief that any problem could be solved, any challenge overcome, and any rule rewritten. The galaxy would never be the same.